My name is Lewis. I am a poet, and I have a list of my spoken word collections that I call Bucket. Yes, I said bucket, like this. Pardon my silence, but not even the neatest length can conceive the depth of my thoughts. I was so lost and connected at the same time that I had no clue my younger sister Muna was watching me until I heard a clap from behind. She began to sing my praise, saying even King Solomon would feel threatened by those words, which made me feel good. That very day, I had a show at 5 p.m., and that was the reason for this brief rehearsal. But there was a little problem. I was a bit nervous about the show, which wasn't my first, but my 19th one. I'm also shocked that I still get nervous. But guess what I always do to help myself? I just avoid eye contact and look above their heads during my presentation.
I avoid eye contact. Sometimes I look above their heads.
Muna, a little disappointed, still understood and encouraged me, wishing me luck before leaving for school. Then I went back to my practice. Still that night after the show, I was heading home in my car as my driver drove. I was so exhausted that I just wanted to get home and rest my head, yawning like a hungry man. Suddenly, we drove past someone looking scared and stranded. I immediately asked my driver to stop. My God, this man refused. I told him again to stop because I saw a young girl who looked stranded and needed help immediately. Can you imagine? My driver still refused.
Everybody when you see for highway na suspect too.
Older people always show themselves, but I still acted calm and pleaded with him to stop the car and reverse, which he eventually did. I alighted from the car and reached out to this young lady hiding behind her box, looking helpless and scared. I asked what the problem was. She responded that she entered the wrong taxi, was robbed, and then thrown out.
I was robbed. I was robbed.
Immediately, my driver started with his fears again, saying these are strategies, and before you know it, boys will start coming out from the bushes to attack.
I said this girl like this is not strategies.
No.
These girls now so they take kidnap people. See this thing now. So what people go run from bush now?
I just looked at him and ignored him. That man is too afraid. I checked my pocket, brought out some cash, and gave it to the lady to grab a cab, but she didn't accept, claiming she didn't know the area. She only came to see her friend, but now didn't have her phone. So I asked where she was headed. Luckily, she remembered the address, but my driver, being who he is, made it seem like a bad place full of bad guys because he didn't want to go there. To avoid talking too much, I suggested we take her to a hotel so she could lodge. But my driver still had a problem with it. I stood my ground. We arrived at the hotel and met the receptionist, but unfortunately there were no rooms available. This was a big problem. What do I do now? But wait, why is this girl staring at me like that? Am I safe? That aside, guys, I was still thinking of what to do when I heard the question, how about your house?
How about your house?
Shocked, I looked at her and asked, are you comfortable going to a stranger's house? She told me I had been nice to her. And what's the worst that could happen? Well, I refused, saying I couldn't bring her to my house, but she began pleading, leaving me no choice. I accepted and told her she could come to my house, and she was very delighted. I stood up and went outside to wait for her. She came out looking like she was cold, so I gave her my jacket, not knowing this would be the beginning of my nightmare. Finally, we arrived home, and my sister warmly welcomed her in while I helped bring her bag inside. The way this girl keeps staring at me is questionable. Let me quickly go upstairs, please, so tomorrow I can help her get to her address and be free. The next day, guys, I still helped carry her bag and asked people for the address. A good man we met directed us, and we got to her friend's apartment. Honestly, guys, I am not comfortable with the way this girl keeps staring at me. Her friend eventually came to the door and was very happy to see her. I quickly dropped her bag and bid her goodbye as I left. Finally, I'm free from this whole thing. I was heading back home when, just as I thought I was free, I saw this girl running towards my car, panting. Surprised, I asked my driver to stop the car. I got out and went to her, asking what had happened. Guess what, guys? She ran that distance just to know my name. I don't understand this anymore. Well, I told her name is Lewis, and when she was about to tell me her name too, I told her it was Balema. She was surprised at how I knew, and I told her I had heard her friend call her name, making her blush. This is serious. I asked if that was all, and she told me she needed my contact. She didn't have a phone, so I checked my pocket, found a pen, but no paper. She suggested I write it down on her palm. I was shocked, but still did it. I quickly excused myself, got back in the car, and we drove off. Oh, guys, I haven't mentioned I have a crush yet, which my sister doesn't like. Her name is Tolani. I have liked this girl for a long time now, and yes, I haven't told her yet, but I do things to make her see it. I don't know why she has refused to notice and just wants to friend zone me. That's exactly what my sister is against, believing she's just using me. But you know, anything for love. Tolani came to my house and asked me to go with her to meet the agent helping her get an apartment. Guys, see the opportunity for me to be with my crush. I accepted immediately, but she insisted we wait a little until she got a call from the agent, and I agreed. She picked up my notebook and began reading one of my pieces from Bucket so calmly and passionately. Guys, I really felt connected to those words as if she had written them specifically for me.
And let me protect you in my mind like the Louvre.
I quickly adjusted, knowing she was only reading. You can tell from my sister's look that she doesn't like Tolani at all. Finally, her phone rang. It was the agent. She asked about my earbud. Honestly, I can't even recall how or where I misplaced it. I told her I couldn't find it, and she said okay. Now my sister is attacking me for allowing Tolani to use me as she likes and claiming I'm blind to it.
Tolani is just using you.
She's not.
Of course, I refused to admit it and insisted she be nice to her. Just then, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I picked up, asking who it was. Surprisingly, it was Balema, the stranger girl I had helped that night. I hope she is fine this time. She had just gotten a new phone and quickly called to say thank you for saving her. I innocently told her I was happy she was fine and safe, and she began to show some excitement over the phone. I was keeping Tolani waiting, so I immediately excused myself and ended the call. Muna asked who it was, and I told her it was the girl I helped the other night. I still pleaded with her to be nice to Tolani and left. I trust my sister. She loves perfume. Now see her taking my expensive perfume from my room, believing I didn't see her. Guys, can you believe this? Balema called me first after she got a new phone and didn't even bother to call home or anyone close to her.
This girl, you're not serious though. Have you called home first? No.
I don't know, but I just feel there's something off about her. This very day, I was again rehearsing for my show when Balema called again, still appreciating me for saving her that night, leaving me concerned. She insisted I save her number, and the call ended. Tolani, my one and only crush, I just wish you would see me as more than just a friend. Guys, Tolani gifted me new earbuds, and I'm so amazed. I still believe she likes me too, but just refuses to admit it. It is what it is. I will patiently wait for that time. One beautiful morning, I was in my room when Muna entered and told me my guest was waiting for me in the living room. I was so confused and asked who it was. She said Balema. Oh my God, Balema again. I woke up to 12 missed calls from her and couldn't return them because the network was bad.
I just woke up to about 12 missed calls from her.
12 missed calls.
I just hope all is well. Let me go and find out. I got to the living room and greeted her. She was just smiling nonstop. I asked if everything was okay, and she said yes. She sent me a message on IG after I didn't take her call and thought it had been a while, so she figured I would like to see her again, leaving me confused.
We haven't seen each other since the other day, so I knew you'd want to see me again.
I ignored her statement and asked what I could offer her. She said anything. She isn't a stranger anymore, and this is now her second home. I don't understand. Is this girl normal at all? I left to get her a drink. We sat together, and you could tell I was so uncomfortable from my body language. She asked about Bucket, the collection of all my spoken word pieces since she had watched them. At least I was a bit relieved hearing someone talk about my pieces until she began reciting them word for word, leaving me amazed.
You are the sun to my sky, the moon to my sea, the stars that guide me where you be. Forever and always my love will shine.
I was surprised because even my sister couldn't remember any of my pieces. Then, the next thing I heard was, "I got your message." I just ignored her as if I didn't hear her. She went on and on reciting my pieces, leaving me speechless. She asked again why I called my spoken word pieces Bucket. I was excited to tell her, but when I saw the way she was lustfully staring at me, I stopped.
Well, I believe my pieces are like calm water, like in a bucket.
She asked again, "Do you have a girlfriend?" My God, what have I gotten myself into? Looking at her, I just told her no, I do not have a girlfriend. She then began to blush uncontrollably, saying she was glad she was stranded that night, leaving me more confused and uncomfortable. This girl is just acting so weird, and I can't figure out what could possibly be wrong with her. I mean, she looks beautiful and normal, but I just don't know. All I know is I will still find out. So, that out of the picture, this very special day, Tolani was involved in an accident which slightly twisted her ankle, and I helped bring her home. I felt sorry for her and quickly went to get something for her to eat so she could take her medicine. It was fun, as I always wanted to be around her. She finished eating and said she would love to watch my performance one day, although to watch my performance costs a leg and an arm, which she couldn't afford. Then she pleaded for me to read one of my favorite pieces to her right there. Oh my God, what is this girl up to? I like her, and I've always wanted to do this. I have to compose myself and read this, so I started. Okay, so my favorite piece is Bucket 6. In the quiet whisper of the night where stars dance and dreams take flight, I find solace in the warmth of your embrace, a sanctuary where love finds its place. Surprisingly, after I finished, she rushed and gave me a very tight hug. The following day, I had an appointment with Tolani, and I was about to leave my house when I saw Bellama outside. I quickly ran back. Muna was coming, so I rushed to her and begged her to tell Bellama I wasn't home. I quickly went to hide, and she did. Hearing their conversation, Muna told Bellama I wasn't home and would be back at night, but Bellama didn't even bother. She just went to have a seat. Muna still followed her, reminding her that I wouldn't be home till 8 p.m., as it was just 10 a.m. in the morning. Bellama insisted she would wait. What is all this problem this morning? Bellama, your plans won't work. Guys, I had to beg and persuade Muna to help get rid of her. She's just too clingy for my liking. She calls me non-stop and even bombards my DMs with her pictures. Muna kept insisting she likes me and that I should give her a chance. But I'm sorry, I can't, as the feeling isn't mutual. And most importantly, my heart beats for Tolani. After much pleading, Muna finally agreed to help send her away, and she left. I was upstairs on the balcony watching them leave when Tolani entered. What will I do now? I quickly picked up my phone and messaged her.
She said Lewis is not home.
Yeah.
I'm also here to see him, but I'm leaving. And if I can't wait for him, who are you to wait for him?
I'm glad she understood immediately. Later that day, she asked, "Who is she, and why am I avoiding her?" I told her that she was someone I helped one night. She was stranded, and I brought her to the house. Since then, she has been showing up unannounced. I noticed she was a little bit upset, or probably jealous, so I apologized.
Sorry I kept you waiting outside. Why are you sad?
Nothing.
Wait, is Tolani trying to tell me something? I can see the look in her eyes. She just said she wasn't upset about waiting outside, but now she can't tell me exactly why she was upset. I will still be patient with her. The next morning, I was drinking a cup of tea when I received a call from Bellama saying she was outside my house. I was so shocked that I almost spilled my tea. I reached for the door and saw her standing there like she owned my house. I don't know if I was being careful not to offend her, or if I didn't want her to see me as a bad person, but I couldn't stand up to her. And this is already getting out of hand. You won't believe it, but she was wearing the same outfit as yesterday because she knows it's my favorite color. She just kept acting weird, and I was fed up. I told her not to keep coming to my house unannounced. Her whole attitude immediately made me run for my safety.
Are you angry at me? I'm sorry, okay? I don't want you angry. Please don't be angry at me. Don't be angry. Please don't be angry.
I guess she was able to bribe my sister by gifting her perfume, so Muna allowed her to stay, making me sit and watch a movie with this weirdo. Tolani called and I excused myself to take the call. When I returned, I saw that Bellama wasn't happy. I realized it was getting late and she needed to leave so she could catch a taxi, but she refused, saying she could spend the night since she had slept at my house before. As if that wasn't enough, she misunderstood all the kind things I did for her, believing them to be me expressing my feelings to her. Guys, is it now a crime or a bad thing that I helped someone again? Because I don't get it. This girl is scaring me.
I saw how restless you were that night, moving from one hotel to the other for my safety.
As a kind person would, I was being a good Samaritan.
She also mentioned that my poems were composed for her and that she got my message. Is this girl possessed or just delusional? She got offended and left. Guys, I don't know who sent Muna to go defend me against Tolani. She made my love cry. I overheard their conversation and quickly stepped in, cautioning my sister to be quiet, as I didn't send her to do that for me. Immediately, Tolani picked up her bag and wanted to leave, but I quickly stopped her. The most important thing was that the atmosphere was the right opportunity for me to tell her how I have felt about her for so long. I had bottled up my feelings because I was scared of being rejected and didn't know the feelings were mutual.
Leave me alone!
Guys, what has my sister done? The only woman I have deeply fallen for wants to leave me? No, I won't let that happen. I have to tell her now. Tolani, I don't need you to give me space. Note this, Tolani, you are not using me. I do what I do because I really love you. I have been dying to say this to you, that my heart skips a beat at the thought of you, and it beats even faster when I stare into your beautiful eyes. Guys, it worked. Tolani reciprocated the feeling. It's mutual. Oh my God, I'm so happy right now. She said she didn't want to rush things between us and she was also leaving for school, so what's the point? Really, Tolani, what's the point, you asked? Well, if only you knew my plans. That aside, guys, Tolani is mine now. She just told me she loves me. I'm blushing already. Well, Muna realized she had misjudged Tolani, thinking she had been using me, so she stood up to apologize. There was love and peace in my heart and in the atmosphere of my home. Just when I was enjoying and spending time with my girlfriend, I heard Muna calling Bilima from the door. I was shocked and quickly stood up, holding my girlfriend's hand, but Bilima didn't take it well. She told me I was cheating on her. How can someone who isn't dating you think you are cheating on them? Is that not madness?
You are cheating on me with her? What? Get your hands off my man! Get your hands off!
Bilima got enraged and aggressive and began to fight my sister for deceiving her. Indeed, this girl is really insane. I quickly rushed to protect my sister from this insane being and warned her never to step her foot in my house again. I guess her friend will be suffering from the same madness as well, and if she's smart, she should call for help immediately, as she's the one living with her under the same roof, so they won't break each other's heads one day. I'm just kidding, actually. I have blocked this insane girl on every platform I know she can reach me, believing I was free from her. Until this very special day, I was in my room with Tolani. We were having a very special moment together, and I told her the surprise I had for her. She was going back to school, so I secretly applied for my PhD at her school so we could be together. Just as we were happy and excited, I heard someone shouting my name. It was Bilima again. What can I do to get rid of you permanently in my life? We both came out and I noticed she wasn't in her right frame of mind, screaming and crying, asking for the perfume she gave Muna.
And she told me to get out. I want my perfume back, okay?
I quickly went to get it, threw it out for her, and closed my door immediately. My God, I was confused and didn't know what else to do. Even Muna was scared, waiting outside as she already went out when she called. I insisted she go to the police as that was the only option left. Shortly after, I received a phone call from an unknown number, which turned out to be CHINENYE, Bilima's friend. I told her that her friend had been at my house, screaming and embarrassing herself outside, but she shouldn't worry as the police were already on their way. She began pleading with me not to get her arrested, saying that Bilima wasn't in her right mind. I then heard another voice in the background, claiming to be Bilima's mother, who also begged me not to involve the police. I told her it was too late as the police were almost here, but she pleaded with me to send her my address, which I did while we waited for Muna and the police to arrive. Finally, they did, and I immediately went outside. I had to beg the police not to arrest Belema as her mother was already on her way. When she arrived, Belema ran to her for protection from the cops. My driver, who had never supported my first meeting with her, insisted that the police take her away. Concerned, I asked Chinenye what exactly was wrong with Belema.
What exactly is wrong with her?
She was diagnosed of erythromania. Her mom was trying to get her help when she ran away from home.
Oh my God, Belema, this poor innocent girl suffering from erotomania, a rare mental health condition that happens when someone is fixated on the idea that another person is intensely in love with them. I felt so much pity for her and decided to go to the police to explain the situation. I could only imagine what she was going through. Weeks later, I decided to stop writing romantic poems. I began writing a piece on mental health when Muna asked about
I'm
it.
not writing a romantic piece. I'm writing a piece on mental health.
Inspired by Belema.
Yes.
I told her how I felt pity for Belema and the thousands of people who might be going through similar situations. Here's one of my new pieces dedicated to all mental health patients. In the depths of our minds, where shadows dance with light, there lies a fragile balance, a delicate light. Invincible battles rage, silent walls that range, mental lands skipped mad by stones that never age. We carry burdens unseen by judging masks of smiles concealing where the darkness lies. Every step or struggle breathes a debate. This is my special piece for all mental health patients. I hope you listen to this and find wholeness of the mind in no time. Please stay safe. Guys, what do you learn from this beautiful story? Mine is, I believe everyone needs love, whether normal or an insane person. We all need love as love conquers us all. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Creatority Films for more interesting and up-to-date movie extracts. See you next time.